So, what are you going to do with it? Last time we named something. Under pressure, you don't move according to what you believe, you move according to what has been practiced. The automatic impulse, the reaction that fires before you thought, and the patterns that helped you survive. When everything I used to manage my pain began to fall away, what surfaced wasn't strength. It was wounds, it was anger, it was grief, it was fear, it was pain, and I had to do something with it. And that's when I saw it. There was something in me fighting to take control back. Something that reacted before I could think. Something that tightened up when I tried to surrender. And something that wanted my will and not his. It was the part of me that had learned to live apart from God. The part that reacted, protected, and controlled. And the Bible calls that the flesh. Before all of that, I had convinced myself I couldn't return to him, that I had gone too far, that I had broken way too much. There was grief and heaviness and noise in my mind that told me I was done. But he had never left, not for a second. And that realization that he was still present is what drew me through. I had learned to live apart from him. Now I was learning to live with him. Paul says in 1 Timothy 4:8 that bodily training is of some value, but godliness is of value in every way, holding promise for the present life and also for the life to come. Now, bodily training builds structure and it builds endurance. Godliness reshapes who rules you. I could strengthen my body and still be ruled by myself. What I needed was surrender. There is a lordship we are born into. Lordship just means who you serve. Self-rule, impulse, and control. And then there is the lordship of Jesus. That exchange is where power enters this conflict. And surrender does not stay abstract. Paul says in Romans 12:1, I appeal to you therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Worship is bowing. It is yielding. It is placing something above you and under it. When you present your body, you're placing the place of reaction, the place of impulse, the place where fear tightens and your anger rises under his rule. That is the exchange. That is the transfer of leadership. And once that exchange happens, discipline has a new meaning. Paul says he disciplines his body and keeps it under control so that it does not rule him. The body is not meant to be sovereign. It must be governed. And it can only be governed rightly when it has been first surrendered. So as I surrendered my will, and as I began including him in everything, instead of living apart from him, this began forming inside of me. Love where there had been hostility, and there was plenty of it. Peace where there had been agitation. Patience where there had been reaction. Self-control where there had been reflex. That's what the Bible calls the fruit of the Spirit. And it grows as you continue surrendering control, as you continue placing your reactions under him, and as you keep yielding yourself instead of grabbing it back. Truth was no longer something I agreed with. It began to be embodied. And this is what faith looks like when there is no feedback. You continue placing your reactions under him. You continue yielding control. And you continue trusting his presence even when nothing around you confirms it. But pressure still shows up. Impulse still rises. And so now what? If leadership has changed, why do I still react the old way? And how do I govern that reaction? That's where we go next. I'm Brandon. This is your momentum moment.